Hey guys, so check this out. This is something that I just picked up. Cute little machine. It's the HP Compaq. And this one is a DC7600 Ultra Slim. And you can see it's in pretty good shape. A little dirty. Just spin it around, take a look. And you can see on the back here, it's got a little power supply. I got PS2 ports, audio, quite a few USB ports in here in your LAN. And it's even got a graphics card in it here. Probably nothing to write home about, but we'll find out what's in there. And the interesting thing about this machine is it's pretty much all modular. You can take almost the entire thing apart without a screwdriver, which, you know, we're going to do that here in a minute. I've already powered this on and it works. There's a hard drive in it with a password on it, so we're just going to reload the whole thing. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mount the camera up, and we'll go ahead and take this whole thing apart. Alright, it's got a nice big fat thumb screw in the back here. And it should, yeah, there we go. Pop the cover right off. And you can take a look at the inside here, and you can see this is probably a PCI card. I think it's on a PCI riser here. And it looks like it's in a white slot, so yeah, I think that's a PCI graphics card, which is fine. This does have a Pentium 4 inside, and I think it's a socket 775, so, but I think it's only 800 megahertz, so I think you can only use Pentium 4 or Pentium D socket 775. I don't think you can put a Core 2 Duo in here, but we'll play with that later. Anyways, to take this apart, first thing you gotta do is pop out the disk drive here, and I believe it's got something to do with this handle here. Yeah, okay, so that's unlocked like that. Alright, that just pops right out. Now the connector card comes straight out. Check this out. I believe this is how this works. Oh yeah. Alright, I apologize, I had a bunch of background noise there. But yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll unplug the connectors from here. And the cool thing about this, you can see this is where the disk drive was. When you have the disk drive out, this spring load thing comes up, covers that up, so you know it looks like there's a disk drive there, but you don't have a big gaping hole in it. And you can see there's definitely a lot of dust and gunk in that fan, so that's going to have to all be cleaned out. I get a feeling this whole thing is going to have to be scrubbed. Look at that. Ooh. Alright, so now we're at the hard drive. And it's nice, you know, everything's SATA in here, there's no IDE. See the hard drive, and you just pull this lever. Yep, and it'll unlock the drive, and you just pull the whole hard drive out. We've got a Seagate 80 gig Barracuda 7200 RPM, so that's cool. So we'll test the drive out, make sure that it is good. It seemed to be. Alright, so now we just pull the graphics card out of here. Alright, with the cover off, I mean, you can just pull this thing straight up, and you can see you've got it is a PCI riser card here, and we've got a PCI graphics card here. And I don't see any markings on here. Tell me what it is. Let's look on the other side here. And you don't even need a screwdriver to remove the graphics card from here. Alright, what do we got here? Yeah, this doesn't tell me anything. We'll figure out where it is later. And maybe we'll upgrade it. Alright. Keep the shot down into the motherboard here. CPU, of course, is under here. Get the power supply out of here now. Alright, so the only two cables coming out of here are, we got one SATA power and one 6-pin. And if you pull this forward, this whole thing will lift off, and then you can find your 20 pin. And that's it. I mean, there's nothing to this power supply. That's going to have to be cleaned out really good. That's full of all kinds of gunk. Alright, we got a couple sticks of RAM in here. Not sure size of that. Surprisingly, it doesn't really say on here. We'll figure that out later too. And there's 3 slots in here. So now I think we finally need a screwdriver to get the CPU out of here. And it looks like Torx will do it. Alright, let's try a T15 Torx. Oh no. Not a tight fit. Alright. There we go. Alright, the only other thing we got here is like our air temperature sensor. Yeah, nice big chunk of copper on the bottom of that. These business machines, they always have these beefy ass heat sinks. Alright, let me get this chip wiped off. Of course the thermal paste is all dry. Alright, so it looks like we've got a 3 gigahertz Pentium 4. I don't think I've got anything better I can upgrade that with. Let me go through and check out my processors and see what we can find. Alright, so I've got pretty much a metric fuck ton of these 3 gigahertz Pentium 4s, but I did find, which we'll play around with later, 3 gigahertz Pentium D and a 2 gigahertz looks like an 800 front side bus Core 2 Duo. So between these two here, we'll have something to play around with later and see what we can do. But we do have finished taking this apart and cleaning everything out. You can see the buildup here on this probably cant. Build up a dust right here on this capacitor there. There's a ton of dust everywhere here, so we're going to just strip this whole thing down and just make sure everything's nice and clean. And let me pull this sensor wire off here. Alright, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to get everything else stripped down on here. There's really not much else to take out on here now. I see, it looks like a big thumb screw here that holds down the... You know what, maybe I'll go ahead and I'll pull this out now. Let me take the big thumb screw out of there. And the whole motherboard slides back and should lift right out now. I'll plug the rest of this stuff here. All these connectors are color coded, so I think any idiot can put it back together, so I should be able to handle that. If I could just get it out of here now. it was a little tricky finagling it out, but yeah, we'll get this all cleaned up, get the case and all the parts all cleaned up. We'll come back, we'll get everything put back together, and we'll load it up with Windows XP. And I think we'll see what we've got for graphics card, see if we can upgrade it, and we'll try a couple different CPUs in here and see what happens. And one thing I just noticed is this has got a PCI Express slot in it. Unfortunately, there's no way to mount a card in there, so that's kind of a bummer. I mean, we could probably mount it like this, but yeah, that's a shame. There's no way in this case to mount a PCI Express card there. Alright, so as you can see, we've got it all put back together here, and we definitely got a different graphics card in here. The one that was in here, it turns out this was a crappy ass Quadro, about not even equivalent to a FX5200. So we'll pull that out. I mean, we couldn't really do shit with that. And there's an 8400 GS in there now, PCI card, and it happens to be the only PCI graphics card I've got. Surprisingly, I thought I had a few more in there, but I mean, yeah, it's alright. It's better than nothing better than what was in there, that's for sure. And yeah, we still got the Pentium 4 in there, and you can see we've got Windows XP installed, and I got a couple games copied over to flash drive, so we're gonna get those installed and run a couple benchmarks. Tried to run some of the older Unigen ones, you know, like Sanctuary. I get this fucking error right there. And I get the same thing with Tropics. So yeah, I don't know, it is what it is. But Heaven though, which of course Heaven will run like ass on this graphics card and CPU, even DirectX 9 at the lowest settings, but that'll run. So I don't understand why the other ones won't. It's beyond me. But anyways, as soon as these other things go on, we'll try and run a couple games on it, and we'll swap processors and see if there's, you know, see what the difference is in it. Alright, so let's start off with a little bit of 3D Mark 05. Alright, so we'll let this run through and see what score we get at the end. Alright, and we're waiting for our score here. Alright, now there you can see we got 1598, which is pretty pitiful. If we go to, let's see, details. So on our 3D mark we got 1598. The CPU score 525. So we'll remember that when we switch out to a different CPU. Alright, so let's run a little flat out. A flat out 2. Alright, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to turn the music volume down. Alright, so we got a socket 775 Prescott Pentium 4, 3 gigahertz. And let's go ahead and just run a bench on this CPU here, just for the hell of it. Alright, so we're down 33.6 multi-thread and 5.7 single thread. That's pretty impressive. Let me swap CPUs now, and we'll come back with a Pentium D. Alright, one quick microcode update later. We got our CPU in. Alright, so there we have it. Pentium D 925, 3 gigahertz. 2 cores, 2 threads now. So let's go ahead and bench this while we're in here. And this should be better than the Pentium 4. And we got 44.8 and a 13. And what the heck do we have? Let's see. Let me find looking before CPU-Z. Yeah, we had a 5.7 and 33.6. So, yep. So that's an improvement. Alright, well, I've got one CPU left I want to try, and this is a 2 gigahertz Core 2 Duo. I do not think it's going to work. I don't have high hopes for it, but let me pop it in and we'll see what happens. Alright, cross your fingers. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, well, as you see, we're back to stock configuration. We got the old Quadro piece of shit back in there. And we open this up here. And we got our Pentium 4 630 back in there. So, yeah, it was fun. It was fun to play with, but honestly, Pentium D isn't that much better than a Pentium 4, and unfortunately can't put a Core 2 Duo in here. But this is still a pretty cool machine. I mean, it's completely modular. I mean, you can disassemble everything other than the heatsink there without a screwdriver. I think that's pretty cool, and it's got instructions everywhere how to do it on here. And another cool thing is, I don't know if you can see, if you see down inside there, yeah, you can see those things standing up there. That's all the MOSFETs for the VRMs. They're, and even on the side over here underneath this, they're all standing up instead of being on the motherboard. And you do have a fan in the front. You know, there's a fan right here that blows in, and then you got one here that pulls through. So you got like a push-pull configuration with a duct right here, and it also comes right across the chipset heatsink here, and it blows across the, even though these fins are facing the wrong way, it does blow out of here onto there. And it doesn't really have, I mean, it can get loud. When you go in BIOS, you can actually adjust the fan speeds on there, you know, for what your idle speed is, and this is the lowest setting. And as things get hot, I mean, it turns up a little bit, but I've never gotten loud. You go to BIOS and you crank them up, and they get ridiculously loud. And yeah, it's got basically one SATA port and one SATA power cable for the hard drive down there, and then this has kind of like a weird header on the motherboard that this little daughter board goes into, that connects to the Celeron, which is also that's also SATA, just a weird connection on it. And like I said, in the back I was showing before, there was all those USB ports and shit. You got 2 extras in the front, along with headphones and microphone jack, and then there's your air intake through that front fan. So yeah, this is a pretty cool little machine. You know, and the thing is, you can actually play like older games that are older in the machine if you wanted to, you know, do some retro gaming on it and shit. But other than that, I mean, it's, you know, I'm running Firefox on it. Let me mount the camera back up here and we'll take a look. Alright, so as you see, we got YouTube up, and it's playing at, well, it says HD 720p. Then we go full screen with this. Alright, so it's a bit laggy at 720p. Try 480. Alright, so it plays fine at 480. Yeah, it kind of makes it like a slideshow on here. Sometimes, well, I don't know, once it buffers out, though, it might be alright. Yeah, so it's probably not pretty good at, it's not, probably not good at 720. But anyways, there you go. That is the HP Compaq DC7600 Ultra Small. What is it called? Ultra Slim Desktop. Pentium 4, crappy Quadro, 2 gigs RAM, fully modular. Pretty nice little machine. So if you guys are out and about and you see one of these cheap enough, I mean, pick it up. They're fun to play with. So anyways, that's a wrap for this one.